Challenges, those are often the turning points that often shape who you want to become, and facing them head on is where that growth and transformation begin. Now, challenges don't have to be super resistant in contrast, but you do have to have a breakthrough moment. So, we're going to explore today about challenging yourself daily, not just as an option, but kind of as a necessity if you really want to unlock true potential. So let's talk about how to embrace the mindset and really apply it to everyday life. I love going into challenges, and that's often where I've had several breakthroughs in my life. Sometimes I get in these little comfort zones. I'm like, okay, I'm good. Don't need to really challenge myself. But every time I challenge myself, I'm like, wow, there I go again, And so I've challenged many things, challenged limiting beliefs, challenged just that it was too late in life for me to get in shape when I was about to turn 40. And that was many, many years ago now, right? So we'll get into all this great stuff. But before we do and get into some great strategies, head over to talktoperry.com and let's connect for a quick focused conversation to help you recharge and align your energy with your goals. My calendar's wide open for podcast viewers like you, podcast listeners. If you're catching this on your podcasting app, I'd really love to support you. TalkToPerry.com. So let's talk about the essence of a challenge. Ooh, man, it's a great way. As I'm recording this, it's the beginning of a new year. So happy new year to you whenever you're listening to this. Just like happy moving forward time, right? It's like a lot of times at the beginning of the new year is when people are making some commitments to change things and to really challenge themselves. And so this is where you discover new strengths and really realize what you're capable of achieving, right? So without challenges, at least in my experience, goals can feel very routine, uninspiring. I recently talked on a podcast about Quitter's Day, where it's like by the second week into January, people are already giving up on the goals that they've been thinking about for a few weeks or maybe for a while longer. But when you truly take on something that really tests you, that's when the growth really is going to happen. Now, there are some great mindset strategies behind this. It doesn't have to be in resistance. I think a lot of times people think challenge and they think, oh my gosh, this is going to be rough. This is going to be resistant. You know what? There can be like a little terror barrier sort of thing, a little thing to overcome some fear and to break through. But you can do this with more ease and flow once you understand a few things. So how to even start this and just incorporate these into your daily life? Set a stretch goal. Now, I've been enjoying Bob Proctor's teachings for years, and he'll often call it a C-type goal, like ABC. And the C-type goal, well, an A goal is something you've already done. Okay, you've done it before. Let's take health and fitness for instance. I've already lost 5. I know how to lose 5 pounds. I've done it before. I can do it again. So to set that as a goal and say, well, I want to lose 5 pounds, it's not really a goal. You already know how to do that. Go do it. A B type goal is something that you believe. You're just like, man, I believe I can do that. I'm pretty confident I can accomplish it if I just stay disciplined, do some things. A C-type goal, a big stretch goal, is something that you may not know even how you're going to get it done. It's just that you have that burning desire to do it. You're excited to do it. It's like, I don't know how this is all going to come together, but I'm going for it anyway. And you don't know how to. The thing is, you don't have to know how to get there. It's just that you desire to get there and you're willing to do whatever it takes. And all you need to do is just get to the next base camp. What are the next steps? So that's a stretch goal. It could be trying a new hobby, setting some boundaries to protect your time. For me, my goal was really just to get into this mindset where I drifted so far off course with my health and fitness that to get in shape again, I was looking for a quick, easy button, a way out. And because it didn't seem like I could even do it, I couldn't turn around, I couldn't reverse that. And then I started taking a hard, long look at and being radically honest with myself at where I could take things. And it elevated me to many different opportunities in my life. So one thing to do is just to track your wins. You've got proof. Okay, you've got proof of things you've accomplished over your life, things you've gone through, some obstacles you've overcome. As you're going, just log your progress. My progress at the beginning of my health and fitness journey, when I truly committed to it, was just putting an X on the calendar. I showed up today. And then I did it the next day. I didn't worry about, what's going to happen 2 weeks, 3 weeks out. Now, if something was coming up, then I made sure I had a plan. If I was going, like, at the end of my first week was Easter holiday, and we were going to have a big buffet of food and stuff. So I created a strategy around that because I'm like, I need to stay disciplined and do this. But it wasn't going for perfection. It was just tracking the wins and finding a time in my calendar to when I was committing to exercise, because that was the other big thing. Is at the beginning was I needed the healthy habits. And so instead of seeing the results and worrying about the results and what the scale was going to say, or if I was going to put in 90 straight days, if that was going to, even be worth my time, I'm like, just do today. Don't worry about it, but you need to show up and have healthy habits. If you string together all these healthy habits day after day after day, those results will come. I believe that, but I didn't know where it was going to happen. So ask yourself some tough questions. What is stopping you from stepping up? And usually there's a little terror barrier there, right? A little bit of fear, but you might you might turn it into rationalizing why now's not a good time. I worked with a bunch of teachers way back in the day, and when I would run a little bit of a fitness challenge, almost inevitably they would put things off. Well, after testing's done, well, after summer, Christmas break's done, after I'll be ready during the summer, and they would always procrastinate. There was never a good time, but they would tell a story about it. So when you get radically honest with yourself and say, what is keeping me from doing this? Is it fear? Is it uncertainty? Get it down. What is holding you back? Because once you can do that, then you can start going, wow, is that really a big obstacle, or am I just making it bigger than it seems? For me, one was I would have an hour drive home after a long day of teaching, and I'd be, well, I need to get motivated. I need to relax. I had a long day, and I would convince myself that story on my drive home. And then I went, is that really true? I'm going to dispel that, because I was making that the big obstacle to get motivated to get into the gym. And I'm like, I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to do it right here and there, or right here and now. And that's what I did. When I got home, I took care of the dogs, and then I got my workout going. I didn't do any sit down or anything like that. I just got home and just continued like an extended part of my workday. So that was one big thing. Another thing that you may want to do is, and I highly recommend it, is to reflect on lessons that you've learned. Every challenge that you've gone through, it offers insights if you're paying attention, if you really use that power of awareness, right? So take a moment, think about what you've gained, what skills, even as from the previous year, the confidence that you've had, the resilience. If you've had some tough things or some setbacks, you can use that not as a tombstone, but you can use it as a stepping stone to move forward and apply those to your future goals. If this past year or the past couple of years didn't go the way you wanted, turn it around and stop and catch yourself when you're about ready to say the story of, yeah, but you don't understand. And then you're trying to build a case against yourself. That is defending limiting beliefs. That's what you're doing. And I found myself, and I still find myself from time to time, if I've got a goal and I find myself at that terror barrier sort of thing, I find myself almost defending or justifying a limiting belief of some sort that I could easily manipulate and control and get out of my way, right? So, and if that is you and you're really wanting more clarity on that, that's why I say hop over to talktoperry.com and let's tackle those struggles, and that, especially the ones that are draining you, if they're draining your energy, and let's explore a path to get you moving, to get you just to the next level for your biggest goals, that big C-type goal that you have. Because every challenge that you face, it builds a stronger, more resilient version of yourself, which is pretty cool, right? They aren't just obstacles. A lot of times people look at, they think of a challenge, they think of an obstacle course, they think of all the reasons why they can't. when you start to really dissect it, they're just opportunities. First of all, one is seeing how serious you are about your about your goal. And if you're going to take action on it, because a lot of us will spin the story in our head, but we won't do anything about it. That's not decision making. When you're committing and taking action, then you've decided. It's showing up for yourself and really proving to yourself you have what it takes. So it's stepping into the arena, facing each challenge with confidence, growth and confidence, or growth and transformation, I should say. It really starts with a willingness, that desire, that burning desire to rise to the occasion, to take the daily actions, to really look at worries and doubts and fears for what they are, and just like, that's something I'm making up. It's not that big of a deal. I can figure out a way around this, right? Don't focus on the obstacles, the fears, and the worries. Focus on where you want to go, right? Because you have the power to take control and really elevate yourself and conquer all your goals this year. But you can let the justifications, the excuses, the rationalization, you can let all of that control you and drain your power. It really boils down to deciding and committing to yourself and your goals, taking action on them. You got to take action. You can't just let it spin up in your head. And then choose to figure out new ways, looking at possibilities, learn, grow, and keep moving forward, and use the tips from this podcast. You've got this, my friend. I'd love to hear your top takeaway from today. You can drop those down in the comments. I promise I will reply. You absolutely rock. Happy New Year. And as always, remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week. That's another Power Blast podcast in the books. Thanks so much for tuning in. And remember, when you are ready to recharge your battery, make sure you go to talktoperry.com. That's talktoperry.com. That's Perry. And I want to listen. I want to hear, what's going on. I want to help you in that 15-minute call to recharge your battery and reclaim your power so that you're off and running and creating massive momentum toward your dream. Also, every day, I am delivering more motivation, support, tips, and strategies inside my free community with amazing people like yourself. And we are conquering the mindset and the fitness. I do 52 weeks of free training in there. Plus, I coach and I mentor people, as well as give you access to tons of resources and guides. It's called my Upside Down Fitness Community because we work on a lot of mindset stuff, the inside stuff. And we're a fun group of people striving to make healthier habits in this awesome chapter of life. So make sure you get in there. I promise you'll absolutely love it. Just head over to upsidedownfit.com and you can get into the group. And hey, you would be an awesome friend if you get over to iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast and leave an honest rating and review for the Power Blast podcast. It helps awesome people like you find this show even faster, and that's who I'm looking for, awesome people like you. That's all I have for this week, my friend, and just to let you know, you absolutely rock. That's all I have for this week. I'll see you on the next Power Blast podcast, and always remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.